What's up, guys? DoctorBeau here. Today we're talking and answering all of your questions about the foot. More specifically, is having a flat foot a bad thing for you as an athlete, a bad thing for your back, and ultimately a bad thing to have? So stay tuned.
How can I help you today?
Okay, so the question of the day is this. Hey, DoctorBeau, my son has extremely flat feet. I notice when he runs, even his toes point in a little bit. Is this a bad thing? I notice that he is a lot slower running than the other students in his class. Okay, so here's kind of the big deal about this. Flat feet has and plays a major role in the ability of the body, primarily the lower body, to help propel or basically help your body run faster. So what I have right here is obviously a foot. Matter of fact, this is a right foot. And if we think about the way that your foot is structured to move, if you guys didn't know this, your bones of your feet are all different shapes and sizes. This is what they call your big toe because it's big, wow, right? And your little toe because it's little. The reason is because of this. When we run, we are supposed to land on the outside portion of the heel first and translate or transfer our weight across over the arch of the foot and then push off the big toe for propulsion. Now, here's what happens. When the foot is flattened, meaning the arch drops down or you have what is called a flat foot, the way that we run biomechanically changes as well. So instead of hitting on the outside portion and seeing that translation and that push off happening, the foot actually hits more on the out lateral portion of the foot. Then we see a big collapse over the arch, and then ultimately the person pushes off the inside portion of the big toe and misses that last 30% of the way that their foot is supposed to explode off of the ground. That's a lot to say this. Yes, if your foot is flattened, then you have a higher chance of being a slower runner. Now, in addition to that, check this out. I have this cool chart that's right here. It talks about body balance. A lot of times what we see too is when we have a flattened arch, it typically just doesn't happen on one side. It happens on both sides of the feet. And that ultimately leads to having one side being more flat than the other. And the way that we as chiropractors assess that is we have what they call a short leg, which means one side is flattened, and as we move up through the pelvis here, one hip actually rotates backwards and the other hip rotates forwards, trying to rebalance or counterbalance the hips. This causes a lot of tension in the lower muscles of the lower back, lower leg, all the way up to the mid-back and to the neck. Ultimately, here's what we know. We know that muscles that are under tension do not fire as quickly nor as strong as if muscles which are at rest. Think about this. If you're working out in the gym, and I don't have any weights here, but let's pretend this is a weight here for us, and I'm lifting weights like this, and then I have to hold the weight, and I have to hold it. And then after a certain period of time, I ask myself, contract the weight more. And I go to contract, it's much harder, right? Matter of fact, we call these pauses, or you may have heard the term negative. And basically what that means is we want negative pressure pushing down against us, which causes our muscles to have more stress on it. And then we're asking it, boom, to respond and to do so in a forceful manner. Matter of fact, many times when people come into my practice, especially if they say, hey, Bo, I hurt my back, very, very rarely do they actually, quote unquote, hurt their back doing anything that has a major trauma. It's like they wouldn't go and pick up a lawnmower. No, they bent over to tie their shoe or to pick up a piece of trash off the ground. And the reason that is because of this right here, where we have an imbalance happening in the body and the muscles are under a certain amount of tension. And then it's just that little amount of bending, lifting, and twisting, which causes the body to try, like we talked about, to try to force it to contract one more time, and boom, it doesn't happen, and wham, the body goes out of alignment, subluxates, causes muscle tearing, causes muscle spasms, all kinds of issues, which you see over here in the spine and things that we get to fix up here. So guys, here's what it comes down to. Two things. Number one, stability and mobility. The very first thing that you can do is to make sure that your body is stable. Where does that start with? It starts with your feet. Make sure your feet are properly supported, that your arches are good. It also has to do with your core strength, making sure that your pelvis is strong, that you're doing the right exercises. So stability and mobility, by stretching, proper hydration, fluid, movement, exercise, all that stuff, guys, very, very important. So for the person that asked me about your foot saying, yes, is my son going to be at a little bit slower than the other children because his feet are flat? The answer most likely is yes. So if you go look at your kid's feet, are they flat? If they are, let me know, answer in the questions. There's different types of orthotics that you can do. There's actually different types of exercises that you can do to help strengthen those muscles, which will make your foot stronger, more mobile, more powerful, and ultimately a better athlete. Hope this helps you guys. Hope it helps that guy that asked that question as well. Talk to you later.